Hi everyone, this is Messianic News Channel. I have important teaching to share with all of you today, and it has to do with the truth in the ancient Hebrew Bible versus all of the apostasy and the false religions in the world. So first of all, to begin this teaching, the Bible talks about a harlot. In the book of Revelation, it talks about a harlot. This is a false system of worship. We know that the Father's true congregation is called his bride, those that keep his commandments, that love him, like Jerusalem, that used to be his bride. But a harlot is compared to a system of false beliefs and paganism, where they do spiritual prostitution. Let's begin with this teaching. Back in the ancient days, Father established universal truths, and he is not the Elohim of confusion. He is the Elohim of order. So he gave us some undisputable signs in order to find the true church, the true congregation, and his true teaching. Number one, he had chosen Jerusalem. Back in the ancient days, there were a lot of pagan cities. Each city in Babylon, in the Assyrian Empire, Phoenicia, and different civilizations was dedicated to a different idol. There were cities that worshipped the moon, some worshipped the sun, some worshipped different demons. So each city was under some specific spiritual dark power. But Elohim chose Jerusalem. Also, he chose the Hebrew language. The ancient scholars, they believe that the Hebrew language is not a language invented by humans. It's the first language, is a language of angels invented by Elohim. What's the proof of this? Adam, the first human being, his name doesn't have any meaning in any language, whether Persian, Babylonian, Farsi, Chinese, whatever, but it has only meaning in Hebrew. Adam is because he was taken out of the ground. Ground is Adamah, the earth. Then Hewa, or Eve, the mother of all the living, from the word Hai, Hawa. And Cain means to acquire. And then Seth means appointed. So all of the names of the first human beings make sense only in Hebrew. And then also, in the book of Revelation, John says that he saw heaven open and the angels were singing Alleluia. But it means to praise Yah. Only in Hebrew makes sense. Elohim established Jerusalem as the capital of his ministry to spread the truth. The Torah, the prophets were in Jerusalem. He also had chosen the Hebrew language. He created the Hebrew language. The whole Bible was written in Hebrew, with some fragments, small, written in Aramaic, like in Ezra and Nehemiah, which is a sister language to Hebrew. But all of the Torah was written in Hebrew. And also he gave us his feast as signs that we were worshiping the true Elohim, like Pesach. Pesach was a sign that we worship the Elohim that rescued our fathers from Egypt. Other civilizations, they had pagan feasts in different portions of the year. With all of this being said, let's look at what the enemy has done throughout history. The enemy chose another city, which is Rome. Interestingly, Rome was an ancient city of witchcraft. It's not holy like Jerusalem. And he chose also the Latin language, which was the language of paganism. It's not a pure language like Hebrew. And that was the language of the Roman Empire. The masses at the Catholic Church were always in Latin. Even till this very day, a lot of Catholic churches, they pronounce these mantras in Latin that no one understands. I think it would be more logical that they would learn a little Hebrew instead of a dead language that no one cares for. And then they also created their holidays like Easter. Easter has nothing to do with Passover. They always fall on a different day. And it has to do with the sun worshiping. And then there is the Easter bunny that was the idol of fertility with all of the Easter eggs. All of that comes from paganism. The same as Christmas comes from paganism. That came from sun worship. Has nothing to do with what the Bible has established. And the center of authority in Rome is the Pope. Instead of following Elohim, you follow a sinful man. So let us do a little recap. Go back from the beginning. Elohim chose Jerusalem. He chose the Hebrew language. He gave us Pesach, Yom Kippur, the Sabbath as signs that we worship the true Elohim of Israel. And Elohim is whom we follow. He's the center of worship. But now the enemy distorts everything. He chooses Rome, which is a city of paganism. He chooses Latin, which is also a pagan language. And he chooses Easter and Christmas and all of these pagan celebrities that were around even before the New Testament was written. Even Sunday was the main day of rest in Rome before Christianity even showed up. The Vatican, they preach replacement theology. Now they are the new Israel. And besides that, they follow a solar calendar, the 365 days of solar calendar that came from Egypt, that is about some worship. While the Hebrew calendar is just a prophetic celestial calendar that just shows you when Elohim's feast and prophetic events are going to happen. So the next fake religion is Islam. Islam, they consider Arabic the holy language. Their main holy city is Mecca. Their main feast is Ramadan, and the main person they follow is Mohammed. Going back from the beginning, Elohim has chosen Hebrew. Well, the enemy distorted that. He says, we'll rather do it in Arabic. So Elohim always sent his Hebrew prophets to warn the people. All of the prophecies were written in Hebrew. All of the prophets spoke Hebrew. But suddenly comes this guy who is not Israelite, he's Arab, and he speaks Arabic. So now Arabic is the holy language. And Elohim always established Jerusalem as the center of learning, center of worship, where his main congregation was. Now the enemy chooses Mecca, an ancient city where they worship the idol of the moon. Actually, that's why in a lot of Islamic flags you have the crescent moon symbol, because that came from an ancient pagan tradition in Mecca to worship the moon. And then, of course, Pesach was the symbol that we worship the Elohim that rescued us out of slavery from Egypt, but now they created their own holy day, which is Ramadan, and they created their own calendar that is a complete lunar calendar that was based on the worship of the moon. And they don't follow Elohim, of course, they follow Mohammed, another sinful man, just like the Pope. This is how the enemy works. He alters what was given originally. So, our final recap. According to the Bible, Elohim has established Jerusalem. The enemy established Rome, a pagan city, as a center of worship, and the enemy also established Babylon, that was destroyed, and also established Mecca. All of those were cities of idolatry. Jerusalem was the only city that was teaching Torah. Elohim has chosen the Hebrew language. That's his language that he created. Well, the enemy, for the Catholics, choose Latin. For the Muslims, Arabic is the holy language. Elohim gave us Pesach, Sukkot, Yom Kippur, his feast, as a sign that we worship the Elohim of Israel. The enemy created Easter, Ramadan, solar worship, moon worship, all of these pagan calendars. The Catholics keep the solar calendar that they stole from Egypt. The Muslims keep the lunar calendar that they stole from ancient Babylon. And then, the main being that the nation of Israel follows is Elohim. Elohim is the center of worship, but the enemy distorted that, so in Rome is the Pope, and in Mecca is Mohammed, whom they follow. So stay tuned for more Messianic news update. Stay sober, seek the truth, and denounce falsehood and fake religions. Thank you.